Jeff Dye's friendship. Jeff Dye's friendship. Jeff Dye's friendship. Jeff Dye's friendship. Jeff Dye has friends. No, really, Jeff has friends. Jeff's friends are on this podcast. Jeff Dye's friendship. Jeff Dye's friendship. Jeff Dye's friendship. Jeff Dye's friendship.
Friendship.
Welcome back to Jeff Dye's Friendship Podcast. This episode is a very, very special one because we ain't got no guest. We're going to talk about the news and current events. We get to know more about sweet Tony Reavis and that piece of shit Aaron Marsh. I love those guys. They're good, man. But it's fun. It's just us chilling. It's just us getting to know each other. We started doing this thing where we look up news stories and then go back and forth. I think you guys are really going to enjoy it. Big thank you to Patreon and all the subscribers. Spread the word. Help us get the word out. Get more patrons, so we can make more of this. And we really are grateful for you guys. We're also grateful to Revolver Podcast Network for hooking us up and making that all work, and putting us on their network, believing in us. It's a really fun time, and we enjoy making it. This week, I'm sending out gifts to all my patrons. You're going to get a custom-made wrestling card drawn on by either me, Aaron Marsh, or Tony. They're not all that great, but they're very funny and silly, and they were handmade by us, and we'll be sending those out real soon. What else? Also, if you subscribe to the highest level of my Patreon, you get free comedy club tickets to any of my shows for life. Yeah, let me know if you're going to be in Houston or if you're going to be in Austin, Texas, or Arizona when I'm going to be there. Any of the shows, and I will hook you up. Enjoy the episode. Oh, yeah. Oh, we're in the episode. Nice little jingle. Jeff Dye's friendship. I love it. And the people love it. And the women love it. And everyone loves it, but Tony Reavis. Tony Reavis, what's wrong, man?
I do love it.
Oh, you do love it.
I listen to that jingle more than anyone because I'm the one that put it together.
Well, maybe that's why I thought maybe you didn't like it.
No, and I still love it.
I'm the worst. I haven't listened to it since the day you sent it to me months ago.
Why? Why don't you listen to the podcast?
Because I live it, man. I'm already on it. You think
this is
the
so
baseball
annoying.
players go home and watch their baseball games?
Yeah, they see their highlights. Golfers always checking out their golf swing. I watch my stand-up comedy to make sure there's anything I'm doing that's annoying that I can quit, or if I can make my jokes a little bit better or more concise.
Yeah, but if it was that, like doing stuff that's annoying to quit, then Aaron would be silent the entire time.
He would just go, maybe I shouldn't say anything.
So maybe it's good that he doesn't listen to the podcast because then.
So you guys want me to talk then? That's what I just heard.
Yeah, I do want you to talk, but that's a great little shot that Tony gave you, and I'm gonna and it.
Take little shots at us all day.
Oh, guys, what's going on?
I don't know.
You're grumpy?
No.
Good.
Any argument, any combination of us three get into, I could not care less about.
That's why it's good.
Exactly. Like it'll never ever.
It's frivolous.
Yeah, like we'll get out of a car if we were arguing, and I don't care. It's gone.
It's brotherly.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, that's true. Like I don't think I'd hold on to anything.
Yeah.
What about your brothers?
It's all silly anyways.
Do you fight with your brothers?
No.
Did you growing up?
Not really, because they're so close in age, and I'm younger than them.
Right.
That they were too busy fighting each other, and
but they did all the time, right?
Yeah, until it one time it hit the fan. Then it kind of just
what's that?
They got into blows, and then it was.
I think you've told the story.
Yeah, I did.
And it
just got.
I think so.
I feel like I at least know it.
Yeah.
And your mom and everyone was just shocked, right? They just.
Well, what happened? So I guess
your dad came home with dinner.
Yeah. And all the tacos went in the air, and I was like, no. And then they just never really fought after that.
They're like, listen, let's just team up. Yeah. We can't beat each other.
I mean, we do, there's always going to be brotherly squabbles, like silly things. Like, if we're talking about.
Well, my brothers and I would get into
I don't know. Barry Bonds should be in the Hall of Fame or something. If we're going to be like, yes, you should. No, you shouldn't. I don't know.
That kind of stuff.
That kind of stuff. Yeah, silly stuff.
I mean, we grew up loving pro wrestling in the not safe sense, where anything in the house was a weapon we'd use against each other.
ECW.
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 If If my parents kept barbed wire in the house, it would have been legit ECW.
Wow. Well, we had.
I wish they would have.
Oh, I wish they would have too. There was
And
a
then you'd
chair
be on my
brother hit me with
podcast
once.
and look a little cooler with like a big scar across your eye or
Oh,
something.
hell yeah, like
Yeah.
a pirate.
That would be cooler. But we had
Like Tina Fey.
we got new beds at one point. We got new beds, so we took the old mattresses and put them in our basement in the
Hell,
corner.
yes.
And then we had like a wrestling ring, and we were putting holes in the wall.
Why haven't I already done that in my garage? That's what I want to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why have we not turned that into like a
I'm
real
sleeping on
soft
that bed like an idiot.
wrestling area?
We should.
I know. Just buy like 8 mattresses.
I said in the thread that one time, I was like, all right, I'm going to be waiting with a tarp out there. But that was a little hardcore for people.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need something soft to cushion the blow, and that's something to just
Maybe
clean
you
up the
do.
mess easier.
Maybe you do.
Maybe you do.
Guys, we don't have a guest today, if you're listening. There is no guest because we have a genuine fun time just talking to each other. I don't know how many times long before we started the podcast, we'd be like at a coffee shop or something. And I'm like, man, this is why we should have a podcast.
Yeah.
These kind of conversations. We are passionate about things you shouldn't be. We argue about things you shouldn't. And we literally have no regard for things that actually matter to regular people.
Right.
You know, like before we got on here, we're talking like voting and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and I was
touch
bored
down
to
on that.
tears.
No.
Tony said he didn't even want to touch the subject, and you only care because you're like the arsonist at the fire who's like, "Ooh, Tony's getting agitated. I want to."
Because I realized something about all three of us.
Yeah,
I don't believe any one of us voted in the last election.
I did.
You voted?
I voted for Bernie Sanders. Does that count as the election?
Yes. Yes. that's
Yeah,
the
wait,
election.
Did you vote during
Oh,
the
no, wait,
primary, or
that's
did
the
you
primary.
vote?
I only voted during that. And
you
it's the
didn't vote
first
during
time
the
I've ever
presidential
voted. Yeah. And also, this is a nice confession. You know, we'll
First
see how.
time I ever voted. He's the guy that never voted for Barack Obama.
I never did, but I've lied about it a bunch of times
Yeah.
because people always get so mad if you don't vote. They're like, "Yo, you don't." But here's the thing: I've always believed, like living in Seattle, you know, it's going to be the guy I want anyways, and living in California is going to be the guy I want
Yeah,
anyways.
that's kind of my thing too. Is like my vote's still in Washington.
Yeah.
And the presidential vote, my vote doesn't matter. Don't tell me it does.
Yeah.
It does. And it's like, well, if everyone thought that way, then okay, but we don't.
Yeah, but we don't know if it- yeah.
and it's going to be Democratic no matter what. So I don't
Right.
need, you know.
And my buddy Mike Cummings did that to me once. He's because I just want to have fun all the time, like goof off, and so that's why I love Marshawn Lynch. And Marshawn Lynch is a player. Don't worry, this does connect. Marshawn Lynch is always goofing off and dancing and having fun and being silly and like doing like he was in a charity soccer game and he came in and he wasn't taking it serious and he picked up the ball and ran it in and like then got a red card and then he like kicked his sandal off and then like he did this whole thing and Mike's like, why do you think that's great? I was like, because it's funny. And he's like, yeah, but if everyone acted like that, then it would just be chaos. And I was like, yeah, but nobody expects everyone. That's why we like Marshawn, is because he doesn't act like the way everyone does.
And then if people try to like, I understand people fought for that right to vote, and like I appreciate that too. But again, it's just like for me, like my local vote might matter more because it's local. But then again, my vote is for local stuff that I'm not living there too.
Right.
So then even more so,
Right.
I don't get to vote on local issues where I live.
Did you want to vote in your local issues where you live?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like that is where it would have more of an impact. I think. Like my vote would like
Right.
really stack up more. That's what I'm saying.
You even want that?
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. Because I
registered.
that's
But
what
if
I'm
he lived there,
because I
still,
don't live
he
there
might.
is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but I'm saying, would you consider registering in Los Angeles where you?
Yeah,
actually live?
I will.
Not me. I don't care about that stuff, and I also don't understand it. Sometimes they'll give me a big pitch on why something's good, and then I'll be like, oh, I'm definitely voting for that. I got to go down there and vote for that. And then someone's like, no, here's why that's bad, because da-da-da. And then I'm like, oh, that sounded like a good argument too. And then the other people are like, no, but think about the children. And then the other person's like, yeah, but it doesn't even go to the children. And then I'm just sitting there going, I don't even know what is up and down. And to form my own opinion would just be going to these websites where I'm getting the same sort of stuff. Like they have you like vote on judges. How can you find any? I tried to like look because I was going to vote in those primaries, and I was like looking for like judges and all these different things. The only thing I could find about those judges was their website.
Right.
Yeah.
But I don't put my worst qualities on my website or any of my. I don't put like all the times I bombed on my comedy website. Like so, it's like
Yeah, that'd be funny.
I felt like it was almost impossible to be an informed voter.
And that's the thing that my first election.
So I voted for Bernie.
My first election that I was like super hyper aware of was when Barack got voted in. And because I was in high school, I was a senior in high school, but I was just too young to vote. But a lot of my friends could vote.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know who was voting for who or whatever at my school for the most part, but I knew that 95% of these people who could vote were very uninformed.
Sure.
They're voting for who Kanye West told them to vote for or whoever,
Right.
Yeah,
P.
totally.
Diddy. And I'm just like,
That's
that
dope.
is what's, no, it's not, you know? And that's why it's like, don't vote if you're not going to be informed.
Well, that's the thing,
voter.
is
I
like,
voted against George Bush twice, and that was really important to me.
yeah.
That's what I'm saying. And then it's,
And then when Barack ran the first time, I voted for him. The second time, I knew he was just gonna win, so I didn't even care. You're like, he's got.
and the thing with elections, these,
But we're kind of saying that about our own states.
yeah.
I don't need to go stand in line and waste an afternoon if I know Hillary's going to take California.
You know, I grew
Yeah.
up a
Now,
blue
if
person
I
in a red
live,
state.
if I live in Nevada, I'm definitely gonna go stand in line and vote for Hillary because is whatever.
Mhm.
But I also think it's pretty stupid. Like, let's say when I voted for Bernie, that exact day that I walked down there and I
Yeah.
did the whole thing, it was just pages and pages of names I'd never heard of and things I knew nothing about. And then I just go to the back and I'm like, where's the Bernie, Trump, and Hillary part?
Yes.
Like, I didn't, and I think. And a lot of people might be listening and saying, well, you got to inform yourself and read and figure this stuff out. However, you're correct. However, how many people are just like me? And they're just going to go do the exact same thing. So it kind of shows that the whole thing's bunk.
Well,
it's
yeah,
tough.
We're American. We're not smart.
Aaron,
What?
I know lots of stuff.
That's the thing
There's
too.
a lot of smart Americans.
And a lot of people, everything's so black and white with a lot of people,
Mm-hmm.
where it's like issues hit people in different ways.
Sure.
Like someone in Iowa is going to have different issues than you're going to have. And like
Sure.
they're going to vote on what,
They
impacts
care,
them
man.
most. And it's
Bruh. It's tricky, man.
Yeah.
love.
All right.
We need love.
That's right, man. Just peace and love,
That's
like
right.
Jesus says.
That's
That's what
right.
that's how I feel about it.
Me too.
All right. So one thing that I've always noticed on like morning shows, I have to go do like morning press on radio and stuff. They'll just like have all these like random stories, and they'll be like, "Oh, you hear about this?" And then we all like talk about that. After doing that enough times, and then being on this podcast with you guys, like I started thinking, like, why are we doing that? But let's start finding out what's going on in the world, and then we'll talk about it. And the stories don't have to be that important, but we'll figure it out.
We've done it one time when we started fighting about cheerleaders.
Yeah, but that was with a guest.
Yeah, it was.
Um,
That was fun.
also, the
That
only
was
reason
good.
I knew about that is because I was hosting on
Right.
Access Live.
And they talked
So, now we're going to seek out some stories, which is good. I'll start with the first story.
Ooh.
There was a man who snuck on to the SeaTac airport, and he got into an airplane as like a
Well,
maintenance guy.
Yeah, he
He
worked
worked there. Yeah, but
yeah.
he snuck out on the tarmac, went up in there like he was going to fix something, and then took a plane, stole it, got it off the ground, did some barrel rolls, was talking back and forth with air traffic control, and took a nosedive and killed himself. However, what a way to go, dude.
Yeah.
That's the coolest way to die I've ever heard in my life. Nobody got hurt. He's allowed to do whatever he wants with his life. And also, maybe put a lot of people at risk, but nobody really got hurt. It seemed like he knew what he was doing.
Remember the first time in GTA when we stole an airplane and we
Mhm.
died almost immediately, and we're like, we got to go back to that airport and steal another airplane.
Yeah,
That guy had the same idea.
exactly.
Like it was,
He really GTA really overestimated how hard it is to steal an airplane.
yeah, and they also made it really hard to leave the airport. Remember those jet fighters just blew us out of the sky immediately. We couldn't get 15 seconds in that airplane.
The second that the airplane was lifted on Grand Theft Auto, tanks are coming out. It's like
Yeah.
a national threat. But
This dude,
this guy's roaming around doing barrel rolls, having a
Well,
good old time.
Well, no, they brought two B-15s came up from.
Yeah,
And
but they
talk to
don't
him.
fly
They
around
talked to him
for
the
an
whole
No,
hour.
time.
they
There
were.
was a
No.
hangout. They Google Hangout, dude.
They're not
Yeah,
talking
like,
to
hey,
him.
what's going on, man? Why don't you
They're-
take it down?
Oh, I'm just
Hey, let us
chilling.
teach you how to land it.
Oh yeah, suck it. I'm not coming down. Think we're just gonna nosedive.
Yeah, that's what he did. He said, I'm going to do a few more barrel rolls and take this puppy down.
Yeah. What was the exact quote? Do you remember? It was like,
He said, nah, they were trying to get him to land. He said, I think I'm going to do another barrel roll and then nosedive and call it a night.
yeah, the best.
It was awesome.
I'm sorry, you're
Did you
mad.
not like it?
No, I think it's very tragic.
Yeah, what? We had tragedy's hilarious.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's comedy's tragedy.
Yeah, I mean, dude, if you could choose your own death,
Yeah, and also
And
I
then
like.
that guy's like, oh, I would choose my death.
I wouldn't be this jovial about it if he flew into a
Right.
Boeing or something, or if
Right.
anybody else
Oh,
got
yeah,
hurt.
nobody got hurt. That's part of the beauty of it.
Yeah, this one airplane blew up. He also, you could argue, people listening might comment, hey, oh, come on, it's really reckless, and he risked a lot of people's lives. However, it appears that he didn't. He was really,
Well, did you see all the footage and stuff?
there's a lot of hypotheticals that could have happened,
Well,
but he didn't do anything that risked anyone's life.
Well, did you see there's a lot of different angles, a lot of different footage.
yeah, he's flying over houses, and he's flying
Yeah.
over. Yeah, that's all.
Was
That's-
it super low?
He was very low.
Yeah, he
for
was
an
low.
airplane,
He
but
was
not
for an
very
airplane.
low.
Yeah, it's still
Very
like
low.
100 yards above
Yeah.
a house. I
Yeah,
loved it.
But just, I mean, if you listen to the whole conversation and everything, like the way he was burning
Oh,
fuel,
is there a
like,
podcast release?
man, it could have been bad.
It could have been
Yeah,
bad.
But none
Yeah.
of that is.
Right, sure.
You're
So it's
talking about
cool.
all the hypotheticals, none of the reality. The
It was
reality is
awesome.
only awesome. Yeah, like when he goes to the suicide part of heaven, you know?
He's gonna be a legend.
Yeah, and he's gonna sit down there and be like, "Oh, you killed yourself." He's like, "Yeah." "Oh, how did you kill yourself?" The guy would be like, "Hanging." "How did you kill yourself?" Like, "Oh, I stole an airplane, did a couple barrel rolls."
Yeah, no, that's what's gonna happen.
All the
Yeah.
night, and then those other guys would be like, "We could have chose that as a way out."
Absolutely.
I was an
That's
idiot.
exactly
Just
what's
cut
going.
myself a whole bunch.
I put a hair dryer in the bathtub and it hurt a lot. You,
Yeah, exactly.
and also I bet he sat on that info too. He's like, "How'd you kill yourself?" And they're like, "Oh, I did it this way." And then he's like, "Wait till you hear how I did it."
What
And
do
they're
you
like,
think?
"What?"
When he walked in, they're like, "Here he is, boys."
Yeah.
Our new legend.
Serious. It was cool.
It was crazy.
Yeah. And also, I'm a big believer in this. Some people would say, oh, you shouldn't joke about suicide and things like that. And you shouldn't, be lighthearted about it. However, it is his body. It's his choice. It's his life. He can do whatever the heck he wants with his body.
If he identifies as the guy who's going to die in an hour doing a barrel roll.
And I'm heavy in this corner too. Like when there's people that do like shitty things and then kill themselves. Like just kill yourself first. Just
Right.
Get it. Don't
Don't risk, or not
Don't
risk,
hurt
but
anyone
don't
else.
hurt no
Yeah,
one.
exactly.
But he
Like,
didn't
just-
hurt no one
exactly.
else. That's what I like. That's my favorite part of the story.
Yeah.
So, I'm sorry if I offended anyone by talking about that, but I thought it ruled. Like, I don't even, if that guy jumps off a building or something, I don't even hear that story. This one, everyone's like, did you hear the man? He got in an airplane. Like, it was insane.
The one time Jeff got offended about it was when I was like, I bet he's scared of Sasquatch in the woods.
Yeah, that was upsetting because he crashed in the woods and then they were like, well, what if he landed on a Sasquatch?
On an island, yeah.
Or some critters. I bet you some squirrels didn't make it out.
No, dude, there was no report of that. I read the article.
All
and
squirrels survived?
all the animals, no animals were
All
even in the
squirrels
article.
survived.
Dude, it looked like he landed in pines. I bet it smelled good even.
All
Like,
right.
all the neighbors are like, man, not only was that cool as hell, it smells great.
Yeah, all the neighbors have got something to talk about too for weeks. All
Oh,
the
the rest
people in
of their
Seattle,
life.
everyone's chatting about it.
For sure, dude. All that footage that you saw, we were like, that's so tragic. Those guys are like, do you see how many Facebook likes I got?
Yeah, barrel
I got
roll.
150
Do you think that he
shares.
had a pilot's license or something?
No, he didn't.
How did he
have
know how
any
to do all that?
experience?
He said from video games,
Yeah.
which means if you stole an
He-
airplane, you'd
and
be
he-
great.
Yeah,
let's try
I don't think
it.
he pulled off because I don't think you can pull off a barrel roll in a commercial jet like that. He said like on like one of the things when he's talking to air traffic control, he asked them. He's like, "How do I pull off a barrel roll in this?" He was doing like crazy loops
Well,
and
and they
stuff.
told them.
He was doing like loops and stuff, but like when you think of like barrel roll, like a fighter jet,
Yeah,
like
like the
Denzel does in that movie. But he was doing crazy loops and stuff.
I think he did the kind where you go back like this and then back.
Yeah.
Oh, loop the loop.
But he kept calling it a barrel roll.
Right.
Oh yeah, what if it was just the wrong term?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
all.
And they're like, it's not a barrel roll you're doing, idiot.
Yeah, technically, and you're like, all right, listen, I'm about to kill myself. I'm having a good time. I don't know why you're naysaying.
The
my-
world's best suicide of all time. Is there even a suicide that's cooler than that?
I also think if I stole an airplane, I wouldn't know how to get it off the ground.
Yeah, no,
How do you know which? Have you ever been in a cockpit? There's 75,000 buttons. And there's all this crap. How would you know which one? And I think I'd probably be like, oh, I think I'm figuring it out. And then all of a sudden another plane just kind of comes and T-bones me like, why is this guy going
Yeah.
so fast? Like, it's amazing he got it off the ground.
It is.
Probably take off and be like, oh, I left the emergency brake on.
And he was a mechanic, so like he knows about planes, but that doesn't mean he knows how to fly.
No.
one.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
I don't know. Pretty crazy.
There's mechanics who know how to like put together a tattoo machine. They can't draw good.
Yeah, my dad's worked on planes
Was that
35
one of
years,
Nick
and he wouldn't
Burrow's
know how to
jokes?
fly.
Have you asked about him?
What?
Have you asked your dad about it?
No,
Let's call him.
Wait, what does your dad do?
he doesn't. He won't care.
Wait, what does your dad do?
He works on planes.
Like,
Works-
he's a mechanic?
No, he works at Boeing.
Let's call him.
Yeah, but what is it? What
Let's
do you
ask
think
him
he
about
works
it.
on
No.
planes? Is he like making new ones? What's he doing?
He works on the new
Old?
planes. Yeah, he's a tool maker.
A tool maker.
Yeah.
So he makes tools that work on planes.
Yeah, but it's not like he's making wrenches. Like they like have like specific plane tools
Yeah.
that like.
So he's like a
Oh, what's that?
machinist?
Mhm.
There we go.
Oh my gosh, I saw that movie.
Yeah, dude. How skinny is your dad?
Super skinny, right? Like
He's got to
It's
be
pretty
crazy
tiny.
skinny.
My
yeah.
dad's super tiny.
like Batman in that movie was like this big.
His name's not Batman.
He was like,
dude.
this was his
name's the
arm.
Fighter.
Huh?
His name's the Fighter. His name's not Batman.
He's not named the fighter. All right, Aaron, you have some stories. Let's
Yeah, dude.
delve in.
All right.
The first story made Tony very irritable because it was politics. And the
Oh.
second one made him very afraid to talk about it because people might hear.
He doesn't want to seem pro-suicide.
No.
Tony kind of becomes our guest every time we do this without guests.
Yeah, it's because we just poke at him. It's because we spend too much time with each other. So we're like, I'm a third person?
Yeah.
All right, hit me with a story.
All
You
right,
little
dude. Texas
creep.
woman gets arrested for marijuana, takes a mugshot. Everyone falls in love with it. It goes viral, and now she's getting requests for makeup tips.
Okay,
Ugh.
you
say
heard
it
this?
one more time.
A lady got arrested in Texas for a marijuana charge.
Okay.
She's 19, and so her mugshot went public. There's a Twitter called Mugshot Bays.
Oh,
Tweeted out
God.
a picture. It went viral, and now people are like wanting makeup tips, and they're wanting to subscribe to learn how she did her makeup so good.
Also,
Good for her.
I can't decide if this is pro-woman or anti-woman. Instead of us just looking at her and being like, wow, what a hottie. You know, even in jail, she looks good.
Yeah, remember there's a dude-
Everyone's just saying, what did she put on her face to make herself look so pretty? How did she do the makeup that she put on her face to look good in a mugshot?
I love it, dude. It's like turning the worst situation to the best. You know, now she's a viral sensation.
I am a little concerned there's a Twitter page called Mugshot Bays.
Yeah, I'm upset that I haven't followed it earlier. to be honest
Well, I would
with
follow
you.
it, but I like mugshots a lot. I wouldn't want them to be hot women. I like the crazy ones. Dudes with like tattoos on their face or they're going through something. So they're like, oh, like, and everyone's, no, you don't know whether to smile or not.
Right.
Dude,
That's
that's
weird.
gotta be Twitter of like bad mugshots.
Oh, yeah.
Of the craziest.
They used to be on E-Bombs World all the time. You can
Oh,
find some
yeah.
great
I
mugshots
haven't
on
seen
there.
that since the beginning of Reddit and BuzzFeed.
Dudes with sharpened teeth.
Ugh.
Yeah, and like men that like have tattoos you would never guess was a tattoo in your life.
Like
You ever been
their whole
arrested?
face.
No.
Do you want to?
We've talked about this. No, I've never been arrested.
Wait, do you have any tattoos?
I have no tattoos.
Do you want a tattoo? Would you ever get a tattoo?
Yeah, maybe. My problem is that like there's a few ideas that like I've had in my life, and like tattoos, like permanent. Right?
Tattoos? We're talking about mugshots. What are you talking about tattoos for?
we're working.
someone asked me.
Yeah, we're talking about tattoos and mugshots on faces, and now
All
I
right.
want to know
So
about
yeah,
this.
go ahead. You've had some ideas for some tattoos.
But I just like I've never been like sold
I know.
on one, so I'm like,
Jeff's been sold, and he sold them back.
Yeah, you two know this story real well, but for the people listening, I got all these tattoos when I was like 17 and 18. Not a lot, but just a couple of them. And they were big and bad and not well done and cheap, and they looked like crap. And so I've spent thousands and thousands of dollars and months, arguably over a year of my life getting these these things removed. And so I'm very anti-tattoo. Even Aaron's tattoos, I love Aaron's tattoos. They're cool things, all the stuff I like. And I'm still not, I could take them or leave them.
I said that if I woke up tomorrow and they were all gone, I wouldn't get any of them replaced. I wouldn't get another tattoo. I'd be like, oh, okay, I'm done with these now.
Yeah, it's like it's
New
fine.
chapter.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was definitely a thing in my 20s. I would just finish up the arm just because it's incomplete.
right.
But it's only because of that. It's not because it's like, I need more tattoos.
It's like committing to a sticker your whole life.
Yeah, I remember after getting my first tattoo, my roommate at the time was like, that's what t-shirts are for, dude.
Yeah.
You get an image of that on a t-shirt, and if you still want it after you're done with that shirt, you buy it again.
Yeah. That's actually a good argument.
that's a good
Yeah,
point.
It is a great argument.
Because like people, human beings have proven for a long time that we're not good with forever decisions, right? Like divorce is really, really popular, like because people try to make a forever decision and they're like,
if I could buy stock and divorce,
Yeah, they're like, I've changed. I've grown up. I'm not the same person. They're not the same person. So like, we've moved on. We don't hate each other, but it's a new chapter. But a tattoo is a forever decision. You have to
A
just go,
fashion forever decision.
Ugh.
It's like buying a pair of pants and being like, this is what my legs are going to look like.
What if you had the
forever.
same haircut from when you were 17?
I do right now.
You're an exception. But you're an exception.
Yeah, but I also go in and out of this haircut. I don't stick with a haircut. I don't have like a thing that's my haircut.
Well, you'd have to if those were as permanent as tattoos.
That's true.
It's true.
All right.
Would you get a face?
Let's go back.
Haircut.
Backtrack
Face
for a
haircut.
minute. We're talking about mugshots.
Yeah.
You've never been arrested, say you ain't got one.
Nope.
I've been arrested, but never, like, what's it called when you're putting through the system?
I think it's
Processed.
Processed.
So I never got the mugshot.
Yeah, I was arrested, but it was a paper arrest. So.
Man, we all suck, man.
Dude, that's why we gotta rush the field. Get
I disagree.
the mugshots.
I take mine as victory.
Yeah,
I'm a
but
good boy.
Oh,
you are a good
God.
boy. I'm a good
You're
boy
the
too.
only person that's happy you didn't open up a pack of condoms. You're like, look, guys, I didn't get laid once. How cool is that? Not a one.
I
That
originally
was quite a leap from what I said.
Yeah.
So
I originally didn't get the analogy, but now I agree with it.
Yes. It's the not participation trophy.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, hey, I don't have a mugshot.
Yeah, being arrested is a cool time. I mean, I don't think it is,
it's debatable.
but it's that mugshot. Come on, that's a beauty. I wish I had
Those
one
are
of those.
forever.
Yeah.
I gotta be careful though, because I won't be able to work in certain places if I get a record.
Would you be able to do a travel show if you had a record?
Oh yeah, I'll get that mugshot somehow. You'll see.
Oh, dude, I can't wait.
It's gonna be awesome.
If you could choose a way to get arrested.
Oh yeah, I already know. We've talked about it.
Oh, on the podcast?
I want to
What would
run.
you wanna do?
I want to streak on a baseball field, not naked. I just want to be one of those guys that runs out
Yeah.
there. Then they arrest me, so I get my mugshot, and I check off the list of running on a field. But here's the thing: I love baseball too much, so I'd have to do it like soccer or something that I don't give a crap about.
Yes.
Do you think you'd be, if you did it, you'd just be kicked out of that stadium, or do you think you'd be?
If I only get penalized from the stadium,
'Cause
that's even better.
Oh,
Because
dude,
if
then
you
what
go to
stadium would you
Tampa,
choose?
if
What
you go to
stadium
Tampa
would you be like,
Bay and
never?
get and streak and get boosted and kicked out of Tampa Bay, how are they going to know that at Safeco Field?
I don't think they would.
Yeah.
But I think the technicality rule is like, oh yeah, no, he's been blacklisted from all the Major League Baseball stadiums.
Yeah, but I bet you only that one stadium.
You don't
You
think?
could
I think
choose
it's
the
all
one
connected.
stadium.
Oh, to never go back to?
Yeah.
Man, Tampa would be it probably.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: that they're getting that new good one. I wonder if it would go over.
Oh, if it
If they're like, no,
transfers
you've already been banned. I was like, but I've never been to this one. And they're like, well, it says you have.
That would happen.
It says you have.
That would happen for sure.
right next to the retired numbers, there's a retired fans.
Yeah.
They're like,
Oh, yeah.
no, buddy,
We have
right
your
here.
Polaroid right here, and this is not going to happen.
Jeffrey reached second base tie. Here you are.
What's the baseball stadium you hate the most?
I mean, I hate Dodger Stadium the most, but I would never do that there because I live next to it.
Right. You
And
got to
so
go
it's the one I
back.
have to go back over and over to get to. So I think I'd choose like a Detroit or something. I just don't think I'd ever care to go back to.
That's a good choice.
Yeah.
I like Detroit, though. That's a great park.
Yeah, but it's the middle of the country. It's kind of further away from other things I don't got to worry about. It's not like I have any love for the team or the history of that team. Fuck you, Tigers. Like it's not like it's a newer stadium where I care too much.
What a nuisance. Nobody asked you to do that.
What do you mean? You asked
Just
me.
mid-sentence, F you, Tigers. Just what a dirtbag.
I don't think anyone cares these days. They're
Yeah.
in trouble. So
Oh, do you think the Tigers are going to come after me? Follow me on Twitter, Tigers. See what I do.
Get blocked.
Your ass,
Get
man.
your
that's
ass
exactly
blocked.
what happened.
All right. What do you have a least favorite stadium? Because I'm doing all the baseball stadiums.
Well, I mean, I've not been to many.
Okay.
Oakland would be a good one to just
but-
be banned from.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but that's a stadium I might go to if I had the scratch to go around and because the Mariners play there a lot, so maybe. I don't like Minnesota. It's fucking cold there, and it's not a dome. It's a
Yeah,
terrible
but it's
idea.
a cool looking stadium. I
Yeah,
go back
but-
to Target Field.
Yeah, well,
If Oakland's the problem, you can always go to San Francisco when they go there.
yeah, but they don't go there as often. We play
They
in,
never go
so
there.
you would go to San Francisco over Oakland.
If they were there, yeah, sure.
You only go if the Mariners. You'd only want to see it if the Mariners are playing.
I mean, if I was gonna go coast to coast, that would be the dream.
Really?
Like if I could have a summer where I did nothing, I had a badass RV and just drove to different stadiums, and I would go to other games, but I'd go to St. Louis, watch a game there because the Mariners are playing nearby
Right.
next weekend or whatever, and it's kind of on the way.
Here's
That would be
an
cool.
interesting thing. I prefer when they aren't playing the Mariners when I go to these stadiums.
Because you want to root for the.
I want to root for the home team and
Yeah.
kind of be like a guest of the team and be like, oh, and I'll wear the little shirt and say, oh, this is a beautiful park because I'm a fan of all the parks.
Yeah.
That's true.
But
I'm always
when
amazed.
the Mariners there, I'm like a little conflicted because I'm like, oh, these are my boys, and now I'm like an imposter,
Nah, man.
spy.
Dude, every time you put a picture up and you're wearing some other team's jersey,
Weird.
I'm like, what in the world?
I know.
Weird, right?
Where do
You
you
get
keep
mad at me
these?
for wearing a different team's hat. Look at you.
Well, I only did
Going
it
behind
in the
enemy
park.
lines.
I did it in the park.
It doesn't make it better.
I'm also,
Just a
they're
guess.
giving me these jerseys, man.
Yeah, well.
You'd wear it if they gave it to you.
No, I
What's the
wouldn't.
best?
And they
jersey
weren't
they've
playing the
given you?
Mariners when
I'd
I'm
hold
wearing
it.
this
I'd-
stuff.
I'd hold it. I'd put it in a bag.
Are you gonna keep the Arizona jersey?
Yeah, that'll be a cool one.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
that counts as an official pitch, dog.
that's a cool one.
Are you gonna throw the pitch like a regular human being?
I
this
am.
time?
I'm gonna try to really whiz it in there and make everyone go, oh.
Hell yeah!
That's the goal. I'm also getting an Arizona Diamondbacks skull cap helmet.
Really?
Doing that for the first pitch.
Did you talk to them about this?
Nope. My buddy Zach's giving it to me, or I'm buying it for my buddy Zach, who's the equipment manager for the San Diego Padres. But he can order any team and whatever
Yeah.
I want.
Oh, wow.
He's also getting me a Mariners one for my new motorcycle.
Woo! You want to tell people about the motorcycle?
What's that?
You want to tell the people about your motorcycle?
Not yet. We'll wait.
All
Surprise
right.
it on him.
But boom.
Jeff Dye is getting some cool new stuff in his life. All right, so hit us with another one of them hot stories, Marsh.
Dude, I gotta say, this website kind of sucks.
Really?
What
There's
website
not a lot
are
of
you
good
on?
stuff?
Well, because it's a lot of like, oh, NASA put a new space probe out there. And I'm like, who cares? I don't live in space. I'm not going to see this thing.
What website are you
Oh,
on?
come on. You
Well,
don't
I
live
mean,
in
that's a cool
space,
fact.
so you don't
It's
care.
okay. It's a cool fact, but I'm like, what opinion am I going to have about it? Oh, yeah, I'm happy we're throwing more stuff in space. Like,
Marsh,
that's
you're the
cool.
first person I've ever heard say it's hard to find news. It's everywhere.
Yeah, hard to find it interesting. I've never liked the news. So I used to work at 911 for a long time, for like 6 years. And I would have to read the news every night just because I was bored and had to stay awake from 5 p.m. to 5 a.m., which is why I became obsessed with sports, because a news story lingers and they just find different angles on the same story
Right.
for weeks. And at least in sports, people have different plate appearances. Like there's the stats build. So it's like Ariana Grande's got a new song coming
Yeah,
out.
I'm not
That's
disagreeing.
guessable.
I'm not disagreeing with you that
Yeah.
news sucks. I'm just saying it's everywhere. You should be able to find something.
It's like Sam Smith caught saying, I don't like Michael Jackson.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah. let
Which
him.
is fine. He doesn't have to. It's
I
just
love Michael Jackson enough for the both of us.
It's a shitty opinion, but
Yeah.
he's allowed to have it.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, Chris Hardwick apologizes about being a bad person. Of course he does.
Yeah,
that
wait,
news?
so he did apologize? I thought he was like, they were like, he's a hero. He didn't really treat this girl like that. Blame her. I thought that was the take from
Yeah.
society.
But no, he is apologizing. He got the job back on Talking Dead,
Right, I knew
Yeah.
that.
and the staff is quitting right now.
Because of it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, interesting.
Mm.
Yeah, so
Sounds like they've made their choice.
yeah, it's almost like the Guardians of the Galaxy, except the writers. You know about the Guardians of the Galaxy?
I knew a little bit about
at
it.
least,
Well, Dave Bautista said he wants to be released of his contract if they don't use James Gunn's script from the third one,
Oh, he's connected to the script.
because it's already done. It's already it's already been written, and they're like, if we don't, because he's in the camp where he shouldn't
I
have been
wonder
fired.
if in those scripts they have the soundtrack written out too.
Oh yeah, I think so.
Because those are so specific.
That's a part of it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It's like interchanging that
Is
would be
Dave
bad.
Bautista afraid that the new writer won't make it as good and it'll be a
Yeah,
bad...
he just says that this is his story that he's been telling, and we should honor it. And it's like good. There's a reason that he.
I think he's just trying to
You know?
stick by like,
Yeah,
hey,
he's just trying to stick by him. He's been in his
this
camp.
is our guy. Whatever you guys have to do for your PR, but we don't want to take him off of the project completely.
What
Let's
did he
get him
do?
paid. He tweeted something 15 years ago. He's already apologized for it, but it resurfaced again. And so Disney reacted by.
Oh, yeah, that's a dumb one.
And I remember that.
I thought he did something bad.
No, it was like he made bad jokes. They were jokes though, but they weren't. They just didn't land.
Right.
They were racial, and so people were tweeting at Disney,
And then, like,
their racial
pedophile.
images from their cartoons in the 40s, and you're like, oh, you're not gonna forgive him of his past, but look at your past, which is worse.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a different time, and James Gunn was like, I was a stupid idiot kid trying to get laughs, and I didn't get any attention.
Well,
for
that's
it.
the thing that's
Built a
happening.
career.
And then now it's like people are going into these MLB players, like looking at tweets they made when they were 17,
Yeah.
It was like, good God, you have so little to do in your life that you're looking at some
Old.
random Washington Nationals player
Yeah.
to go look at some stupid tweet he made back in 2007.
You know what's funny is like old people too. Like if I had this conversation with like someone's parents or something, they'd be like, "That's just showing you social media. Like it's the work." And you're like, "Oh God, this is how you're gonna take your take is gonna be like it's a lesson for us."
Yeah.
That well, you put the internet's forever. It's like yeah, but also there has to be some discretion that
Yeah.
these are kids and kids are stupid and instead of saying that this is a lesson about the internet and life, maybe. We should be smarter.
Yeah, how about a lesson of forgiveness?
Right. Or a lesson of being like, yeah, but, let's take it with a grain of salt. He was a young, dumb junior high kid when MySpace came out, and now he wrote all that crap.
Yeah, swearing was new to him. He learned how to do it on the
I
internet.
just want to know whoever found these. The last one I'm talking about, there's a guy named Trey Turner in the Washington Nationals, and it was like literally from like 2008. But like, who is like going to the most random player? Like, are they checking every player and just scrolling through theirs
Right.
for days
Yeah.
and days?
Just trying to take someone down just
It's
so they can say they took
crazy.
someone down.
That's
I mean,
weird.
Randy Orton's getting in trouble for something he did 15 years ago.
yeah.
What's that?
A little
Oh,
worse.
boy.
So he went into the WWE writers' room and whipped his wiener out.
Perfect.
Apparently, this was a thing he did often. Like whenever there was a
he's-
new writer.
You know how we all have that naked friend? Well,
Yeah.
Randy Orton is apparently the naked friend of the WWE. Where he
So he
pulled
went
his
in
wiener
there,
out.
he pulled his wiener out in front of everyone in the writer's room.
Well, in front of whoever the new writer would be.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like part of the
Well,
hazing
why don't you
process.
tell us the story before you guys branch off into opinions about the story? What happened?
Wait, do you know the Randy Orton?
Yeah.
Please
So then,
tell me.
and then apparently he starts touching his ding ding.
Touching it.
Like in front of the guy, and then he
Please
goes,
mimic it
shake,
for us.
shake my hand. I'm Randy Orton. And what would your response be? I'm not touching your dick hand.
Right.
And then he's like, "Oh, you're big leaguing me. I'm Randy Orton. How would Vince and Stephanie feel if I go tell them right now that you aren't going to shake my hand?" And like he's a very intense guy. We can know that without knowing him. People don't know if he's really hot or if he's just messing with you. And
I would never see a guy doing that and make me think, oh, he's really doing this. I'd be like, oh, this is a joke.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Over the top.
Could be an ego thing, man.
I'd just shake his hand. Yeah, I'd be like, all right, nice to meet you, man. That's weird. Why? Like, this is gross.
Yeah.
And then I'd go wash my hands.
Right.
But I wouldn't be like, whoa. Like,
Yeah. Apparently, a former
I'd
writer.
wiener hand my own hand. And then, yeah.
Right back at you. Yeah.
Yeah, right back at you,
and
bud.
I'm the new guy.
Yeah. A former writer told this story on a podcast like 3 years ago, and it
Yeah.
resurfaced.
So he wasn't very offended. He's just selling it for a story.
someone asked him on Twitter, like, "Oh, did this really happen?" He was just like, "Yeah, it did." So
Yeah, and Randy Orton's like, yeah, I've been doing this weird thing for years. He said he put
Weird
his
wrestling
wiener on
culture.
John Cena's shoulder once while John Cena was eating. Like he was sitting down eating.
what a weird thing. to
Flopped
do.
his
When
wiener
also, I
onto his
guess if
shoulder.
all parties included aren't outraged or offended, why does anyone care?
Yeah,
well,
exactly.
apparently WWE's like investigating it now because we just live in that culture where you gotta like someone's gonna be offended by it.
But
now
no,
that the
but
story's
like
out,
the guy
right? I know, but that's
that
not
it happened to.
that's not. The
We're gonna get rid
point
of all
anymore.
of John Wayne's movies now.
Yeah, that's not the point anymore. It's gonna be someone who reads the story online and who wants to boycott WWE
Oh,
now. And
boy.
it's like, ugh,
Let them boycott the WWE.
you know.
Wait till they see the storylines they did in the 80s and 90s.
What a weird thing. Yeah, it's funny because it seems like so many of these stories I think, oh, good. I'm glad that monster's getting caught.
Right.
And then now more and more there's stories that are happening. I go, oh, well, that's, like
Nothing.
it doesn't feel as good.
Yeah,
I like it when it's a pretty clear villain. Like, oh, yeah, you definitely can't force women to watch you masturbate. You definitely can't
Darth Vader.
put a drop of whatever in a girl's drink and then rape her. Those are
Darth
obvious.
Maul.
yeah. We've taken out the big. A lot of the big baddies are falling, and now we're reaching.
Now it's getting
Now
crazy.
we're reaching.
Oh yeah, no, totally. There's a lot of clear victims in what Jeff just said.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
Oh, he made me uncomfortable in 2007.
yeah, exactly.
Oh, but I'm not mad. I'm just telling it on a podcast. You guys should be mad about it. Like, it doesn't make this.
Yeah, it should be like when the police show up and like, do you want to press charges? Do you
Yeah.
want to press charges? We should be like that with that WWE writer. It's like, did you want to take
Yeah,
this
he
further?
doesn't care.
And he's like, no, I had a good time. The rest of the time, it was just a couple bad moments.
I don't know. I couldn't tell if he was
But did you listen to the actual podcast?
No.
Okay.
I just saw the story that WWE is investigating it. So I don't know.
Because I bet he thought it was hilarious. He's like, oh man, you won't believe this thing that happened when I was a new writer. Like, he
Yeah.
wasn't going, I
don't know.
Someone arrested.
One of the top 3 wieners I wanted to see in WWE right away, knocked off my list.
Let me just tell you, I wouldn't want to see nobody's wiener on WWE.
Nobody's.
Big Show?
Oh, maybe the Big Valboski.
Yeah, dude, of course.
I've been hearing about it for 20-something years.
Yeah,
Might as well show it to me.
absolutely. If Andre the Giant was still around.
Oh, yeah, that'd be an interesting wiener.
Yeah.
I bet it looked tiny.
Well, of course it did. He's a giant
That's
man.
the problem.
He could be the biggest
Ric
wiener you've
Flair
ever
made it
seen.
sound
and
like
It
it
could
could
be
be
the
was not.
size of this tripod.
But
It's going to look
compared to-
tiny on him. That's horrible. That's
Yeah,
not
until
fair.
you put your arm next to it.
It's like
And
me,
you're like, this
me and
wiener's
Aaron
got
have
an
the
elbow.
same size wiener. His is going to look bigger, even though ours, if we have the exact same size wiener.
I guess the good part of that is that a
Thank you.
giant ladies' privates is regular size too.
Sure.
You know,
We're guessing.
that has
Let's
to
see
be
a giant lady.
because the nature's like, no. We got to make all these genitals kind of similar, so it works.
Do you think nature was like, we have to make this universally sized,
Well,
like
yeah, they
an
gotta
IKEA
think.
furniture thing?
Yeah, you never see dogs walking around with just huge dongs.
Yes, you do.
Not like
Guys,
so
if
crazy.
you're listening, please tweet Jeff Dog Wieners.
What a weird
the
podcast
biggest,
this weekend.
the absolute biggest dog wieners you can find.
Well, this is all the stories we're getting.
Only-
Aaron's already given up on the whole thing.
Yeah.
He's like, Chris Hardwick's apologizing, blah, blah, blah. What else is on there? I like the mugshot one.
Yeah, Lindsay Lohan apologized for her Me Too comment.
What'd she say?
She said that women coming forward with their Me Too assaults look weak.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, and then people turned on her as they should,
Mm.
and now she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry that came out wrong." And you're like, "Yeah, I bet it came out."
What I
super wrong."
meant was they look strong. What if that's her take?
Yeah.
She just completely folds.
Oh, her PR person is Norm
Yeah, yeah.
Macdonald.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's just so
Yeah.
silly that she like, why would you even say it? There's zero reward, all risk.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. She should have been like, "Oh, I feel bad for these people. I'm not one of them, or I'm one of them, and I feel bad for what
Right.
I went through."
That's what's so puzzling about like Roseanne Barr's tweet, right? Like that tweet, right? Let's say no one ever noticed it and no one ever cared. She made $0 and got zero. Like those kind of comments or jokes or whatever, they're not worth the trouble.
Yeah.
Even if only 10 people got mad and whatever, and she still had her show and she was still
Right.
rich, it's just not worth it.
Yeah. And you could say, playing devil's advocate, I don't agree with what I'm saying, but just another way to think about it
Okay.
is saying, if she has a certain fan base
Yeah.
who will be like, "Oh yeah, I
talking about Owen Benjamin?
I rock with Roseanne because she said this thing." Like,
Yeah.
that's one thing.
But you don't
But
I don't even see that.
But I don't
I
think
know, I'm
that's
just saying.
worth it. I mean, look at what Owen Benjamin's route.
Yeah.
Right.
He's gotten crazier and crazier to
Yeah.
rile up this fan base, and now everyone's blocking.
Yeah. That's what I was just saying.
What's
That's what I was
interesting,
saying,
too-
devil's advocate. I didn't agree.
Yeah,
with
no,
that.
I know.
Yeah. Who's all blocking him? What do you mean?
I meant that he's not allowed on.
Oh, I see what you're saying. The social medias are saying you
Yeah,
can't be.
the-
Well, that's the thing about
actual
like Trump, for example, is like he's got a lot of supporters, but let's say he has 17 billion supporters. The type of supporter that's supporting him, I think even if they were supporting me, I'd be like, oh, I don't think I want that kind of support. It
but
seems like whether they're a supporter or a real person or
Yeah,
not.
feel
Right.
bad.
Right. But then at the same time, you can't put everybody in a box.
Right.
Yeah, but if you're a jazz musician, an ICP fans show up just because they decided you're the best jazz person, you'd be like,
Yeah.
I got to figure out a way to get an
Yeah, I
actual
kind of
jazz
need
audience in
a
here.
different demographic, I think.
Yeah, what
is-
am I doing?
Sure.
What kind of magnet jazz am I playing? that's
Right,
bringing
but I'm
the-
Because
saying-
that's what I always say, or I don't always say, but one of my takes when I'm talking about Donald Trump is that like Trump is sort of will get a bad rap because of the extremist people that support him. So that's kind of what I'm trying to communicate. I'm just not doing it well. Is that like I would even want to kind of separate myself
Sure.
from
Right.
a lot of the louder Trump people, even if I'm Trump.
Right.
I would say, oh, hey.
That's, yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. And I'm saying, like, if there's someone who supports Trump, you don't, like, lumping them with those extremists
Right, that's
is
the-
what's dangerous. And that's
Which is
what's,
why he should separate himself.
right. And that's what, and I think that's what's happening in our culture a lot these days. And that's why we're so confrontational, is because it's like, you can't support this and not that. But it's like, again, these issues hit people
That's an
differently.
interesting perspective or an interesting thought that I've never considered till right now is that because you just said that's maybe why everything is so confrontational is that like the idea of like we are all kind of turning into like high school in a way. We're all looking at something and then forming this like really quick decision or this quick opinion of something.
Standing by it.
Yeah, and like just like I don't recall it ever being appropriate to say the sentence "I hate the Vietnamese people." Right? That would be a very offensive sentence if I just said "I hate Vietnamese people." However, we do live in a time, especially in the last 2 calendar years, where it is a statement, a sentence I almost hear daily of like, "Oh, I hate white people," or "White people are evil," or "White people," which in my brain at least is still, I mean, not just because I'm white, but just we don't say those kind of sentences. Like I don't think that's an appropriate sentence. Like it's become okay to say it about a white person.
Everything just becomes so us against them. No matter what, it's always like you don't agree with this, you're wrong and evil.
Right.
Yeah. Part of the problem.
Yeah, and it's like you can go even farther. It's like we can agree that police brutality needs to stop.
Right.
And still support the cops.
Absolutely.
Like, but that's getting harder to do these days.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We just see a video and we go, cops are evil. They're what's wrong. They're the problem. I'm afraid to even drive anywhere as a black man because of cops. And you're like, well, no. There's certain cops that are bad and there's certain cops that are good.
Yeah, we got to get rid of those bad cops.
And there's also certain white people that are evil and certain white people that aren't.
Got to get rid of those evil white people.
And there's everything
it's getting put in the same box.
Rich with nuance. Yeah. And we're kind of just lumping it all. I don't know. I guess it seems like I've never noticed a time like that before.
No, I never did. And I remember during the election, specifically like the day of, seeing so many Facebook posts like, "Oh, if you voted for Trump, like delete me. Like I don't want to talk." Yeah. It's like that's not a good attitude to have. Like I understand. Like you don't have to support the things they support. But like just because they support one thing doesn't mean they support another.
Well, yeah, we're in a block culture, man. It's like I've blocked the people who upset me in my Facebook comments. And so it's like just because you might upset me later, I'm going to block you instead of hearing you out at all about anything.
And I don't want to live in a world where we all agree on everything.
Well, but also I don't think there's a way to hear someone out on Facebook. No one's hearing people out.
No, definitely. And that might have been a bad example. But
if there was a way to block people in real life, this wouldn't be a new thing. People would have just already been doing it. Mm-hmm. It's a social media
but people feel like they can actually
I think it's just a shame we don't want to talk to each other. We're not able to be civil about it. Like if someone has a different opinion than you.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of where we're going wrong right now.
Yeah, too many people are sticking to their guns instead of listening and then trying to reevaluate. There's no reevaluation.
And even if you don't need to reevaluate, like you can at least hear someone out, and like you don't have to. Me and you disagree on something, and we talk about it. I don't have to at the end of the conversation change my ideology, but like. It's okay to have different opinions.
I know this is a little lesser, but it is kind of on the same wavelength. I've said a lot about Patrice O'Neal. The reason I loved him so much as a comedian was I agreed with nothing he said. His perspectives and my perspectives were different worlds, but I wanted to understand his thinking, so I was completely engaged.
I'm like, that's like same with Doug Stanhope.
Yeah.
I mean, he says some of the craziest, most extreme things you'll ever hear in your life. But it's so foreign to the way I think and well spoken that I often do change my opinion. That's how well worded it is and how funny it is. And it's how like rich with logic it is that I go, yeah, now I think that. And now I will regurgitate this idea. But I wonder how many people actually ever have thought to themselves, maybe I'm wrong about this. I don't think people do that very often anymore.
No, we don't.
Yeah. Like, I know my mom, for example, not to throw her under the bus, but like, I don't think she's ever considered in the last 25, 30 years of her life, like, maybe I'm wrong about this. Maybe my opinion on this that I am so passionate about might be off. I've noticed that a lot.
Yeah. And not to say it's such an easy thing to do.
It's not easy.
But we now are like, we're so quick to be offended and so quick to turn our backs on anyone who's, who disagrees or whatever. We can't even start the conversation.
That's why I have to block you on Facebook.
And that's the problem.
I feel really bad about it.
Yeah, it's okay.
I would never block either of you.
I'd block you in a game of basketball.
Oh, like everybody.
Like Matumbo. Yeah, the stuff.
That was a cheap shot.
That was a cheap shot.
Halfway through the court.
That's a cheap
Hit
shot.
us with another
The last time I played basketball, by the way, I played against a guy who was like 5'6", and he was blocking me like he was Shaquille O'Neal.
5'6"?
It was horrifying
giving you the
how much I
Matumbo
couldn't
finger?
even get a thing. Yo, dude, it was ridiculous how small he was and how great he was at defending me.
Wow.
That's just how bad I am at this.
That's a
Dude,
bummer.
and I got big gangly arms.
Oh, there's no way that
I'm blocking regular size guys.
and I love basketball, but I play it awful.
All right, hit us with another story.
Did you know that Justin Bieber
Yes?
and Haley Baldwin,
Know who that is?
his girlfriend,
Okay.
got engaged?
I heard that he got engaged. I didn't know he got engaged to that lady.
I did not know that until I read this.
Tony, did you know?
Except for a long engagement, which is smart. I hope their long engagement is 20 years.
Don't care. Couldn't care less. Wish him the best,
Yeah.
but
Well, it's kind of like finding out Elvis is getting married. You know, like back in the day.
Yeah, that's-
not
This
even close.
big, sexy, like thing that all the women like that was
Elvis
just
was-
larger than life, and
Yeah.
everyone followed his whole moves musically.
Yeah, but like these days we hear Justin Bieber's name and it's like, all right. But like then you hear Elvis and it's like, what, Elvis? We're talking about Elvis? Like it was like a
Well, we're not the demographic, but people do
sure.
think like that.
yeah, but man, Elvis was making these ladies pass out. Like
Yeah.
it was nuts.
That's
Do you
what
not
Bieber
think
was.
Justin Bieber's making these ladies pass out?
It's not like a
We're
Kardashian.
like a couple years.
When I hear
apart.
Kardashians, I roll my eyes. Bieber's something special. It's something to a young girl. You know, not me.
Yeah, I think
Old.
I think he's gone. He's a young guy and he's made some mistakes, right? And then like we can't fault him for that. He's a young dumb kid.
Yeah, I don't think
I
he's
didn't
made any
realize we were talking
mistake.
about that. I thought we were talking about the fact that he had such an impact
But
on
I
the
think
culture.
that's like what it's like now. People are like, oh, okay, it's Justin Bieber. He's not.
He's not the guy anymore.
He's not the guy anymore.
All right.
Oh, dude.
I think he's the guy.
I don't know. I used to
He's
see.
definitely the
dude.
guy.
I just
He's
remember.
Fat Elvis. He's
I
now
wish he
Fat
was
Elvis.
Fat
Dude, I
Elvis.
No, but
remember-
now he's Fat Elvis.
No, but if we
he
had
used
Fat
to be
Bieber-
Elvis.
Yeah, but I
Yeah.
worked at an Office Depot, and
Okay.
we were
Quit
selling.
bragging.
We were we were selling Justin Bieber toothbrushes on Christmas. That's how big he was.
That's my point.
Not
Yeah,
anymore though.
it
That's what I'm
sounds like
saying.
you
Like
just
I don't think he's
undid
that
your own
any-
argument.
No, I'm saying he's not the guy anymore because of the things he's done.
Well, but
Oh,
also
did you not
Elvis-
realize that Elvis wasn't a thing in the 60s?
Yeah, Elvis was only a thing when he was like that hot 18-year-old gyrating around making #1 hits.
Yeah, from 1955
Showing up
to
on movies.
1962. 7 years, Justin Bieber had that.
Yeah.
He was the biggest thing. And then the Beatles came along and nobody cared about Elvis.
Okay.
Right.
That's fine.
Also, the
That's
Beatles
fine. You're
even had a
right.
short run.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right. You're right. Great.
Whoa.
There's a Beatles now, and it's not. You know, there's a new Beatles now. It's whether it's Drake, whether it's someone like I don't think Justin Bieber's the guy right now. I
He's
just
not
don't.
the guy, but
But
he's
that
getting
doesn't
married.
Elvis him.
No, that's what I'm saying. But I'm saying today he's not the guy. That's what I'm saying.
What does his girlfriend
I was
do?
telling the story about
a
the
model.
toothbrushes because he was the guy.
Right.
And I was
Yeah.
like, this is crazy. We're selling
Yeah.
these. Just like I hear that news story, I'm just like, it doesn't. I don't think it sends shockwaves through pop culture anymore.
It sends shockwaves through my pop culture.
When did that story come out, Aaron?
Today.
When did he get
Today.
engaged?
Oh, June.
And it's August, and we're talking about it. So
Yeah, that's what
obviously,
I found
it's
out.
not that big of a shockwave
Well-
for you.
Well, I'm an adult man who doesn't read about Justin Bieber. I read about professional wrestling while I'm at work. That's how I'd get my news.
Like a grown up.
Absolutely. I spent
That's what
all
I'm
day
saying.
reading about wrestling
That's
from
what I'm
20
saying.
years ago.
Why are you going to bat for Justin Bieber right now?
I found it shocking that he would get engaged.
Me too.
Sure.
That's the shocking part to me.
She
I
must
get
be magic.
I get surprised when any
Celebrity gets married.
ultra
Yeah.
famous person like that gets engaged.
Well, so he's married to her, or he's getting married to her. She's
Yeah.
a mom. Is she a real pretty lady?
I
mean, she's a
I
model,
didn't even
so
see her
she's
picture,
gotta
but
be
I
pretty.
can't imagine she's a 9.
That's my point. She
Yeah,
must
there's-
just be very, very gorgeous and real nice. Like I wonder what he likes about her.
But doesn't he have access to many women that are very, very
That's
gorgeous?
my point.
And
Like,
many women that
what
are very,
makes
very
her
nice?
different?
Let's
Who knows?
find out.
I wish him the
Oh,
best.
she has a second vagina.
Oh,
There you go,
There
dude.
it is. Never mind, guys. This is totally right.
More holes.
Yeah, dude. I can't. I wanted to tag that in so many inappropriate ways.
Why did you
my
hold
We just
back? That's-
overloaded Aaron's
That's
brain.
unlike you.
Aaron's brain was just reading too many jokes,
Yeah.
too many jokes.
Joke overload.
Because, dude, they were all pedestrian because they were all inside of ladies.
Overheating.
You know what? Looking at pictures of her, I don't think she's more attractive than other people Bieber's dated.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, kind of.
I don't think she's more attractive than ladies you've dated.
Oh, that's nice of you to say.
Absolutely. If
Uh,
you're a
What
about me?
lady
What about me?
that
What about
Jeff's
me?
dated,
Well, more fun than Bieber. You know,
Yeah.
Bieber's more talented, more handsome. He's
Well-
got youth on me. But come on, man, I'm way more fun than the Bieber. Every time I see him doing something, he's just kind of like too cool and like
Yeah, but
laughing. He's one of the too cool
He's got
guys.
like neck,
Holy crap.
He's got neck tats now.
She's from
Yeah.
Tucson, Arizona.
Holy.
Whoa!
The pride of Tucson has changed.
yeah.
Is
No longer
Bieber
is it
going to go
Ian
to Tucson,
Kinsler.
Arizona?
No.
No.
No one's going to Tucson, Arizona.
Sorry, buddy.
People are being born in Tucson and they're leaving.
That's totally true. Except Linda
Shout out
Ronstadt
to
moved
you,
back
Tucson.
after her peak.
Really?
She's from Tucson.
She wanted to be a star again.
I don't know, dude.
Go back
she
to
became
Tucson,
a
you're a
weirdo.
He's
She
legend.
gonna be
became
a star,
nutcase.
baby.
Man,
She's
what
like
a treat.
one of the prides of Tucson, Arizona.
Good
She's
for Biebs.
also the daughter of Stephen
Yeah.
Baldwin.
I wish. Oh,
Who?
Stephen Baldwin.
Oh.
One of
Isn't
the
that
lesser.
Biodome
One of the
Baldwin?
lesser Baldwins.
Oh, I like Stephen Baldwin.
One of the lesser Baldwins. You mean anyone not Alec
Yeah.
Baldwin?
That would qualify as one of the lesser. Yeah.
Well, I thought that they were all.
Dude, he did Usual Suspects. That's a great movie.
Was he in Biodome?
I'm not taking anything
was
away
in
from him.
Biodome.
Hey, don't get
That's
me
a
wrong. I'm
movie.
not taking anything away from him, but he's one of the lesser Baldwins.
I'm saying that you're considering everybody that's not the one most successful the lesser.
Yeah,
So would you
that's
call...
what the word blessed would mean.
What's the Seeger on your team?
Kyle, he's one of the
Oh,
lesser
you mean
Seegers.
one
Yeah,
of the
for
lesser
sure.
Seegers? Sure.
Absolutely, he is.
Oh,
Was Janet Jackson one of the lesser Jacksons?
100%.
Oh, she is very
I like all these
successful.
people.
You
No,
can
exactly,
still
that's
like
what I'm
him.
doing.
It's not saying that there's anything bad. If you know, if Alec is 100% Baldwin,
Right.
Steven could be a 98%
We're
Baldwin
learning a lot
and
today.
still be one of the lesser Baldwins.
Here's the
You
thing.
That's
shouldn't
math.
put people on a totem pole
That's
like
math,
that.
man.
Everyone's a person.
Right.
just
We've
math.
learned a lot about Tony today. His commitment to literal critical thinking is uncanny.
Evil.
Why?
It's evil.
It's
Why?
evil.
He
Why is
walks
that?
that straight edge.
Why is that evil?
Yeah. Oh, because when you only see the world in black and white, you ignore the grays.
It's not black and white, but I can look at life in a
But you're
mathematical way.
deciding- No, remember earlier when you're like,
There's science to things.
Look
do
at
you
that
remember
delivery.
earlier where you're like,
How
people
about
are
that
looking at things
delivery?
and they're making a decision and they're
Because that's
sticking with it
based
so
on
fast.
opinions, brother. There can
Atta
be
boy.
black and white facts, man.
But I'm saying that everything you were complaining about with that Facebook culture earlier, you're currently
On
doing.
opinions, dog. Like there can be facts. There can be black and white facts.
No, I
Your
mean, like-
inability to hear this
Here's
is
the
the
thing.
exact
We're
thing you were
talking-
complaining
when you
about
talk-
the last
no.
argument.
When you-
Girls, you're both pretty.
Yeah. When you talk about anything political, there's two sides to those stories.
Right.
You know, there's people who are for and people who are against. That's not black and white, brother.
Right. No, but I think what's interesting, I was saying your
Don't
commitment
call
to
me brother.
your commitment to your language.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You run a hard line on that. So instead of being like, oh yeah, I just meant like he's not Alec Baldwin, he's like one of the lesser ones, and then you stood your ground. Yep, anyone underneath that
Yeah.
top is the lesser, even with all the examples he gave you.
Yeah, choosing some pretty successful people.
I think it has to
I'm
be
not saying
under
that
the
they're not.
half. This is Jeff's take on it.
Okay,
So you say, is Janet Jackson one of the lesser Jacksons? I say no. She's
Okay.
one of the top Jacksons.
Because there's so many
She's
Jacksons.
only lesser than one.
That's
and
right.
It makes her number two. I say kind of in the middle is when you're the lesser Jackson. So
fair.
if there's let's say there's a bunch of Murrays, right? You got the Bill Murray, Joel Murray,
Brian
Andy
Doyle.
Murray, Brian Doyle Murray. Not everyone under Bill is lesser Murray. They're lesser than Bill, maybe, but they're not.
See, well, you're using the word.
I
Yeah,
said
but he's
once
taking
in the
a half.
half.
I'm liking this a
I
lot
like
more than
halfway better.
everyone.
See, and that's
Because Stephen
fine.
Baldwin's the number 2 Baldwin.
Great.
I think so too.
Awesome. And I'm happy for him.
I was at a radio station with one of the Baldwins, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm one of the Baldwin brothers." And I kept thinking, "There's no way this guy's a."
What are you, Tito Baldwin?
Well, yeah, we were in like a crap town. It was like a
Tito
tiny
Baldwin.
town, a tiny radio station. It was really low budget,
Hey.
and I'm thinking like, "No way, this guy." I googled it. Sure enough, he's like one of the oldest Baldwins.
Hey, life's hard for a lesser Baldwin brother, man.
Yeah, he was one of the lesser. I'm
there-
sorry if he, ever gets back to him, but
But is there like a celebrity brothership or any sort of thing where you're like, that's a tough argument for this one to be the lesser?
Yeah, I'm sure there is. I'm
give
not
it to
thinking of one right now,
Yeah.
but I'm sure there will be.
Is Charlotte the lesser Flair?
an offspring.
That's tough. That's tough because it's a different. If she was same accolades, right? Same exact accolades, but she was a male. So instead of like women's championships,
I like her. Yeah,
they were-
I
they
think
were
she's.
different.
I like her more than her dad.
That's what I'm saying. So because it's like it's a different thing. So it's tough. It's tough.
See, I just
think
like both. I can just like both.
you can like both.
Yeah, we weren't
You're-
talking about liking
you're the
both.
one that's
we
putting
all
that
like
in there.
both. He likes Rick and Charlotte.
Yeah, but I want to bury him a little
Yeah,
bit.
you're not gonna, man.
Yeah, but now you flip flop too hard.
So,
It's
I'm
not going to
sticking-
work.
And I'm going to stick to my guns.
I
I think
like
maybe
both.
the Hemsworth brothers, but I still think Chris is definitely on
Oh,
top
yeah,
just because
they're,
the Marvel, thing on his back is a big bumper sticker to have, being
they're
part of
both
the
very
MCU.
successful.
But they are very successful. But I would still say Liam's the lesser.
All right.
We got any more stories?
I'm
in
sure
there?
there's something out there. I'm sure there is one that I'm like, boom, they are neck and neck. But I'm having a hard time thinking of one right now.
Yeah, I'm like trying to put together that puzzle.
Oh, the
too.
Lopez twins.
The basketball players?
Yeah.
Sure.
Brooke
Very
and
equal.
Robin
Very
Lopez.
Yeah, very equal.
But and then I'm sure there's
Same head.
and then,
Yeah, they're not riding the
But then
top.
I'm sure there's people who would disagree. Like someone who's had one of the Lopez's and is like, oh no, he sucks. I'd rather have his brother.
Right.
I bet there's people like that.
Like Powell and
That's
Mark
Stanford.
Gasol.
Yeah.
Very
Oh
similar.
yeah, those are pretty similar.
Because
Although-
they're both different,
Yeah,
but they're equally level of talent.
Eli and Peyton Manning.
You know who's right in the middle? Those twins that Lisa
Cooper?
Simpson goes to school with. Those twin girls with the
Oh, those
headbands and the
children of the
bangs.
corn.
Yeah,
those
it's
girls.
just equal.
They're,
Where they
they're
speak
the
the
complete same.
They're terrifying.
Complete same.
Terrifying.
That's what I
Brothers
said.
that made Cuphead are equal.
Oh,
Yeah.
the Cuphead boys.
They're
Yeah.
equal too. Except I wouldn't say that because Mugman's like, hey, we shouldn't do this. But Cuphead was the one that we
Mugman-
we won't
No,
get
but
into
I'm
it.
saying that the
We won't get into
creators
it.
of
Yeah, I know, I
Cuphead
know.
were brothers.
Mugman feels a lot like probably Luigi, I'd say.
Yeah.
He's
Poor
like,
Luigi.
I'm just in on this. It's like,
Luigi-
I'm not even getting the girl at the end.
Luigi got
Yeah, I'm Mugman Cuphead is my name.
Nintendo just recently killed Luigi. You missed it.
What?
Not really, but it was a trailer for their new Smash Brothers game, and they do these trailers to like announce characters, and there's characters from Castlevania games coming into it, and that's like a spooky, like you're in Dracula's castle. So the trailer is Luigi in there with his little vacuum from his game, seeing all these spooky monsters, and then the Grim Reaper like hits him, and his soul comes out of his body.
Good
Oh
night.
my god!
But they had to go out and tweet. Nintendo had to tweet like, no, Luigi's fine.
Yeah, because all these little kids are like losing their
They
minds.
should have him
Have they-
animated. Be like, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, have they forgotten about their key demographic of
Yeah, because
children?
at the end it kind of shows him like he's going back into his body,
Okay.
but then like a face comes and like distracts him. But anyways,
Jeez,
I thought that
that's
was funny.
some spooky stuff.
Yeah,
Did you
pretty
see
funny.
my face when he said that Luigi died? I
Yeah,
was
you
like,
were-
can you give me a minute? Like, I need.
Yeah, dude, you gotta.
Where's your bedside manner?
He's back.
When
though.
I find
He's
out
alive.
celebrities die and I have to tell Jeff, I always like try to find the moment. You know, I'm like, hey Jeff, we better go over here and talk for a second.
Yeah.
That's
take a
not
seat.
true at all. In fact, I'll give you an example. I found out Vern Troyer died while I was in Moon Tower Comedy Festival in Austin, Texas, because Aaron texted me a picture. Current picture of Vern Troyer, and it's a doll of Vern Troyer, like in a toy box, like laying down. And I was like, I don't get that at all. And then somebody next to me, like 15 minutes later, goes, "Did you guys hear Vern Troyer just died?" And I was like, "Just died?" And they're like, "Yeah, like 15 minutes ago." And I was like, Aaron sent that within the same minute that
news
Vern
broke.
Troyer dying.
Yeah, good old
Right?
coffin joke, dude.
Oh my gosh.
What a heel.
Yeah.
Not to mention, he did it again with Anthony Bourdain, like literally minutes.
What'd I do with Anthony Bourdain?
Okay, so Anthony Bourdain, I didn't even know that he died yet. And then Aaron goes, I heard that Anthony Bourdain has requested that he gets cremated and it's well done or something like that. Like some sort of...
So you see why at the beginning of the podcast I said like any argument we have, like I could not care less about because that's the kind of person he is.
That's the kind of
Why would
trash.
I be
Oh, yeah, the
upset about
antagonist.
arguing with someone like that?
Yeah. No,
was-
we all agree.
Oh, for sure. I definitely sent a lot about Mitzi Shore.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, to you.
Oh, I'm trying to remember specifics.
It was like now that she's dead, we're more likely to see her in the Comedy Store. It's haunted.
That's a good ghost joke.
Yeah,
That's
let's-
not
Yeah,
even...
absolutely. I'm just
Ghost
saying.
joke.
Yeah, I think it's fine. Mitz Show's never there, but now
Yeah.
that she can roam freely without
Oh,
legs.
dude. Now that I know where her body is, I'm going to run so many bits past her. Oh,
How
my
come
God.
you don't have legs when you're a ghost?
Have you ever seen a ghost?
No,
They might.
you just don't need them or something. Like you're gonna be floating around.
Maybe.
Well,
It's one
I don't know,
theory.
dude. They're doing the Haunted Mansion at Disneyland.
They have legs.
Yeah, they totally have legs.
All right, good. That'd
It's just all
bother
about
me.
the interpretation of ghosts.
All right, hey, what a day, man! What a night! A lot of big news coming up for you next podcast. I'm very excited. You guys got anything you want to plug?
Aaron?
I'm doing the Universal Bar and Grill. I'm not telling you the date because don't come.
Okay.
Oh,
Definitely a strange thing to
strange
put
plug.
on the pod. Yeah,
Strange
it's an
plug.
Yeah,
anti-plug.
totally it is. You've been to that.
What
bar.
about you're back at Flappers, aren't you?
September 12th?
There you go.
7:30.
Tony, you got
It's coming
anything?
up.
Tony, like, plug some stuff, Tone Bear.
Yeah, I'll plug some stuff. We're playing video games again.
Yes.
That's a lot of fun.
Yeah. What'd you guys play last time?
Mario Party is something we just started.
Coming out,
It's
yeah.
very fun.
Yeah, it's an intense.
Who
So,
won?
well, you'll find out. Watch the videos. Good. Yeah.
I'll give you a hint. It wasn't Princess Peach.
Ooh, spoilers.
Oh.
Yeah, so you can watch that at Jeff's YouTube channel, youtube.com/Jeff Dye. And also, if you're into video games, I have a video game podcast. A lot of fun. It's called Screen Peekers.
Screen Peekers?
Screen Peekers.
Because people be peeking at these screens.
Yeah, man.
All right.
But it's instead of like PEEK, like peak, it's PEAK. So it's a play on words because that's a word that me and my friends use to say things are awesome. Things
Oh,
are peak.
dude, we gotta wait and see if your bike's stolen.
Oh, yeah. I left my bike outside to see if anyone would steal it. And it will remain there until someone does steal it.
Yeah.
But there's a ticking clock on
Yeah,
this.
it's only been an hour, so
I bet it's gone.
Yeah, that's
All right.
me. That's me.
I want to plug that I will be at the Stand Up Live Comedy Club in Phoenix, Arizona very soon, like in the next couple weeks. I'm not sure when. Just go to jeffdye.com to find out specifically when. I'll also be at Cap City Comedy Club in Austin, Texas coming up. And also a one-night thing in Houston where I'll be going to the Astros game. And a one-nighter in Vegas, I think, this Sunday. Anyways, yeah, we love you guys. Follow us on all of our socials.
Yeah. Do that.
Friendship.
How about that? That's a fun one. I think we should do these more often. I like getting to know these guys and talking to them. Yeah, but we had fun. Next week, we go back to the format with having a guest. It's going to be a really fun episode. And thanks for tuning in, guys. Don't forget to subscribe to my Patreon, patreon.com/JEFFDYE, or subscribe to this podcast on iTunes. Rate, review. We love you guys.